Hello YouTube, Variant Ace here to talk about Forza 4 versus Gran Turismo 5. Basically, I'm just here to talk about the graphics. A lot of people are complaining about the graphics in Gran Turismo 5, and, a lot of people are complaining about the graphics in Forza 4. So I'm here to give a much more objective approach on both. Basically, you have the PS3 and the Xbox 360. Both are completely different systems. Let's start with the PlayStation 3. With the PlayStation 3, you have 6 out of 8 usable threads on the CPU. It's called the Cell Broadband Engine. The Cell Broadband Engine has 256 megabytes of allocated system RAM that it can use. It has 3.2 gigahertz threads, and it can use 6. Then you have the RSX GPU. It runs at 550 megahertz and has 256 megabytes of dedicated video RAM. I think it's equivalent to GDDR5 video RAM, and there's a high bandwidth connection between the RSX and the Cell Broadband Engine. They've actually clocked it in, third parties have clocked it in at 25 gigaflops, so it's very fast. Basically, what this means is you can trade off processing power from the GPU and CPU and get really good results out of the PS3. Uncharted 2, and Uncharted 3 are fantastic examples of this, but we're not here to talk about those games. So, as you probably have noticed, the PS3 CPU and GPU combination make it pretty powerful. It still stands up well, the CPU still stands up well, to most gaming computers today in 2012. Having been released 6 years earlier, the system is a powerhouse still. On the GPU side of things, it's utterly smashed by any high-end gaming rig PC GPU. And most people want to deck out their systems with 2 GPUs. Obviously, it's being crushed. So, looking at the Xbox 360, a little bit weaker console, you have a dedicated triple-core 3.2 gigahertz CPU with 512 megabytes of shared memory with the GPU. The GPU is clocked in at 500 megahertz, and it has 10 megabytes of additional eDRAM dedicated to the daughter die on the Xenos GPU. The Xenos is the CPU, I'm pretty sure, and the Xenos is the GPU, I'm pretty sure, but I do get those mixed up often. Anyway, both systems have a whopping 512 megabytes of RAM, but the Xbox has that additional 10 megabytes of eDRAM, which they say is like a whole 2 gigaflops or 12 gigaflops or something like that. Anyway, 10 megabytes of eDRAM means it still needs to load from the disk or the hard drive, and it needs to be stored in the RAM. Then the RAM needs to separate it, the eDRAM and the software need to separate it to that. It's not very effective in my opinion. I'm not exactly a genius when it comes to this stuff, but 10 megabytes of eDRAM is probably not making a massive difference in the quality or look of the games. So, if we look at, the processing power, just the poly counts in the games, it's been confirmed that by turn 10, that Forza 4's Auto Vista cars are nearly 1 million polygons per model. So if we actually go 1.2 million polygons per model and multiply that by 60, you'll end up with the polygons per second that are rendered on the Xbox 360. And if you actually can do the math on a calculator, I've already done the math on a calculator and found out that's 72 million polygons per second. If you pay close attention to Auto Vista, you will notice that there is some frame tearing going on, and, looking at Gran Turismo 5, it's not really that big a deal when you're looking at Auto Vista frame tear versus GT5 frame tear. until you hear how many polys the PS3 is rendering on Gran Turismo 5. Assuming you're running at full 1080p on a 3D TV, and the game is pulling at least 100 frames per second, which is possible on Gran Turismo 5. It's up to 120 frames a second. So again, highballing it, 18 cars can be on the track in any race. So let's make them all premium rendered cars. There's been one instance where I'm pretty sure I've raced against 17 other premium rendered cars. Each premium rendered car is nearly 200,000 polygons. So, multiplying that all together, I think it's 3.6 million polygons, I forgot. But what's really important is leaving everything out and throwing only that in with the 120 frame per second frame rate at maximum, 3D resolution, basically, or frame rate rather. You end up with a whopping 432 million polygons per second. So assuming you're driving the highest detailed premium rendered car coming in at 200,000 polygons and drawing at maximum, 120 frames a second, then you are getting, 432 million polygons per second. That's very close to what Sony projected originally, 500 million polygons per second. Again, this is subtracting the track and the pit crews, and it's not factoring any sort of RAM or any specifications that, I can't really measure. So, both confirmed facts. Obviously, the PS3 can do this very easily. I've seen it run in 3D, I've seen it run with multiple cars, with, the real-time lighting on the Nürburgring, the day-to-night transitions, headlights, and, the music and the sound effects, and it just looks and sounds real. Forza looks very good, it sounds very good. Would I say it sounds real or looks real? I would not say that. Would I say the lighting looks better? No. And there are a lot of factors that go into it. When I get my other video up and running, I will definitely be able to show you a lot more about that. As for now, on a side note, Gran Turismo 5, I've recorded like an hour and a half of video on that, and I'm already editing it, and the same with Forza Motorsport 4 on the 360. I've recorded my own video for that as well. It comes in at almost an hour or just over an hour. I'm also editing that. It's Ferrari Enzo. It's the 2002 Ferrari Enzo and the 2010 LFA. Both they're the same colors on the same tracks, and they're both the same versions of the cars, same years, make, model, obviously. Same track. You're going to see the differences all for yourself. I mean, which one you prefer to play is totally up to you. This isn't about that. This is basically just about the graphics, which people complain about. So, all said and done, I guess that's the end of this video. Have fun playing your respective game. Thank you for watching.